And it's not like as soon as you get your first dog, you're gonna start making money in the dog business. Now, you have to get a dog to get started. And once you get your dog, there's two different paths that you can choose. You can get a female or you can get a male dog, right? With the female dog, you'll be able to sell puppies. With the male dog, you'll be able to collect stud fees. Selling puppies is, hey, you got a female dog, you get her pregnant by a dog that you choose, that you like, right? They have puppies, 6, 8, 10, however many she have in the litter, you get to sell all those for $3, $5, $6, $10,000 a pop, whatever you want to sell them for. Collecting stud fees, someone has a female, they like your male so much that they say, hey man, how much would you charge me to get my female dog pregnant by your male? And you can charge $1,500, $3,000, $5,000 for studs. And all of those sound good right out the gate until you think about what you're responsible for when those things happen. If you gotta sell puppies, you're responsible for an entirely different thing. When you're collecting stud fees, you're responsible for something else. Let's go to the board. In the dog business, you have multiple ways to make money. But the top 2 ways that most people make money in the dog business is by selling puppies. They got a female first, or they collect stud fees. They got a male. Before we look at the responsibilities, because now we know, hey, you know, with one litter of puppies, you can easily make $18,000, $20,000 off one litter of puppies, pricing them, as long as you have a good stud, background, pedigree, all of those things, right? And then you know, with studding, you can make anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 a month, consecutive months in a row. But with those things, you have to really think about the responsibility to the breed, the responsibility to the dog, the responsibility to the new dog owner should be at the top of anybody's list that's in the dog business, because those 3 things is everything that you're cooking up, that you're mixing in your kitchen, that you say, hey man, I want to produce these dogs, or I want to collect this stud fee for this dog because I feel like this dog's pedigree and, you know, temperament, size, all of those things is worth putting back into the breed. Right? The breed matters. The breed has to be the standard, right? There has to be some sort of standard. Has to be some sort of standard when it comes to the dog business. So in terms of the breed, you have to figure out what your breed that you have, what the standard is. How big do they say that it should and shouldn't be? What things should it carry, should not? What things should it display? What things should it not? All of those things should be at the top of anybody. Okay, focus to myself. From getting a female first or from getting a male first, the timeline on when you make money on those things, they differ. Female is based on when is the best time for her to get pregnant. The male, his timeline depends on really a chronological aspect, which is he has to turn 1 year old. At that 1 year mark, it is widely accepted that dogs are able to become studs and produce their own lineage, things like that. Some before, some after, but generally 1 year. So when is the best time for a female to get pregnant? Now, what you want to wait on is the female's heat, the female's estrus cycle. When can they get pregnant? They have generally their first heat around 6 months of age. 6 to 7 months of age, you're gonna see them, just depending on how they've been developed, but generally 6 to 7 months of age, you're gonna see them get their first estrus cycle. They're gonna come into heat. They're gonna start bleeding from their vulva area. And you're gonna have to put a pamper on them, you know, if this is your first time, but you're gonna have to contain that. They can get pregnant then. You can make them then. Just because a female can get pregnant on her first cycle doesn't mean that she should. She can, doesn't necessarily mean that she should. What I would advise anyone that asks me, say, hey, when should I breed my dog? This is her first cycle. I want to breed her now. Do you think I should? I would say, if I were you, I would wait at least until her second cycle. That way, and the way I picture it in my mind is, it would be like a 14-year-old girl being able to get pregnant. She can, doesn't mean she should. Versus a 21-year-old when you wait for that next heat cycle that's gonna be about 6 to 8 months from the first one. So now you're looking at that year and a half mark kinda. Now it's like a 21-year-old getting pregnant, right? Body's much more developed. Temperament is a bit more set in. You know kind of what they're gonna be, and they don't have to go through anything traumatic, and they don't know it's the first time, they're able to come into and see life a bit more, so that when they do have pups, they're able to take care of them better, tend to them better. Numbers show that when you wait till that second or third heat, the pups have a better chance of surviving because the mom has had time to form, not only physically, but, temperamental and emotional, psychological as well. And that's important because, again, you have a duty to the breed, you have a duty to the dog, and you have a duty to the new dog owner. And one of those things, all of those things, benefit most if it's intelligent, if it's capable. All three of those things become better if you're able to do that. All right, moving right along. So the responsibilities that you have when you start with a female versus a male is different. And I'm gonna start with the female because most people, when they think about the dog business, they think, man, I'm gonna go get me a female girl that's fire. I'm gonna go get me a male boy that's fire. I'm gonna make them together. I'm gonna make me some money. Right there. Understanding what comes with the money that you can and inevitably will make is really important on how you go through it, because you have to be prepared. If not, it's gonna flop like a pancake and you're not gonna want it. Nobody's gonna want it. You're gonna have to sit on 6, 8 puppies that you don't like, people who got the same breed don't like, and none of the new dog owners potentially they don't even like. So now you sit. So understand the work that needs to be done before you decide which route you want to take. So that's today. That's what I'm gonna show. So let's say your female came in heat for the first time. You were like, you know what? I'm gonna wait until the second one. I want her to be a bit more developed. Cool, right? Imagine that second time she starts her cycle, you're like, man, she on her second cycle. Now it's time to breed her, right? That's what you want to look for. Once she starts bleeding, you want to get a clock in your head. Her breeding is gonna happen over days. Different things on different days are gonna happen. The first block that you need to time yourself on, the time that you notice your female is bleeding, spotting, whatever it is, from the first block that you need to watch and need to have in your mind is that 7-day mark. What's gonna happen about between that first and that 7th day, not only is she gonna start bleeding, but her internal temperature of her vulva is gonna read a certain number on a scale. This is called a progesterone test. A progesterone test is simply letting you know from a chemical balance, scientific of like, hey, this is how the body and the organs kind of turn on and heat up, and this is what it means when it's in the oven, all of that. A progesterone test is a simple way to know when is the best time to breed your female. As her body changes, as her levels rise and then decrease, there's a good sweet spot. It's a good sweet spot, like a good jab, like a good, all right, so it's a good sweet spot that you say, hey, now's the right time for her to connect with that male, either through AI, natural breeding. The progesterone test gonna run you about $100 for somebody to come to you or you go to them. It's gonna be about 100, about the same, maybe a little less if you go to them. They're gonna say, hey man, I'm gonna check her. This is what level she's at right now. Y'all need to get together tomorrow. We need to do an AI, within the next 36 hours, day and a half from now. What time can we schedule to be back here? Cool, we're gonna run an AI. Or, hey, if y'all close, if it's in, hey man, let your male lock up with her Saturday evening around this time. That's to figure out when's the best time to do it. AI is another thing. If the dogs are so stressed out, so frazzled, so like they can't mount, the male can't, You know, if he can't, then you gotta milk him, insert him into her. That's called an AI, artificial insemination. Okay. Input it, right? Dog is pregnant, goes through the pregnancy, getting through the pregnancy, and one or two things can happen. She can have a natural birth, everything's fine. She was healthy during the whole pregnancy. You made sure she had prenatals. You made sure she was comfortable. Natural. Other way, this means you have to have a C-section. You have to know what breed you have, whether they can have, whether it's best for the dog. You have to be aware of your dog. But C-sections don't necessarily have to happen every time. But I will go ahead and factor it into your cost about thinking about what you're going to do, because if it does come up, you don't want to be like, dang, I didn't have the $1,500, $3,000 for the C-section, whatever it is. C-section to get the pups out safely, keep the mom, all of those things. Hopefully. Nothing's guaranteed. From there, once the puppies are here, you have something that's called whelping. And I think whelping deserves its own video. But what I'm going to tell you in short is whelping is making sure that all of the puppies that she has, 4, 6, 8, whatever amount of puppies she has, all of them get adequate time on the nipples to suckle, to grow, to develop. Whelping is not only making sure they're eating, but making sure you're keeping them safe, making sure the mom isn't laying on them by accident, making sure they didn't go into a corner somewhere and they can't breathe and whatever. Whelping is making sure that you're checking on the livelihood of the pups. And this is something that you need to factor in when you're having puppies. Let's just say it's gonna take you about 4 weeks, a month. You're gonna have to do March Madness if you wanna sell puppies, right? Ask yourself for 30 days to whelp a dog, to help the puppies grow, develop. Ask yourself, for 30 days, can you make sure that everybody eats, everybody getting adequate time, right? Now, within that 30 days, you got a stretch of time that is really like, it's like a surgeon. You got life and death in your hands within this time that I'm about to explain. That's going to be from the time that the pups are born till about that first week. You can get those pups to a week, your chances increase greatly to get them to 2 weeks. And once you get to that 2-week mark, most pups are gonna make it. Numbers, most pups are gonna make it if you keep the conditions clean, you keep, the environment safe, things like that. But for that first week, you're gonna have to make sure that every 2 hours you own it. Mom is doing good, pups are suckling on, everybody's grinding, like you're helping them stay clean, you're wiping them off. If mom isn't licking them up, mom should be doing that, you know what I'm saying? But if it's her first time, she may need some help. So you may need to get some baby wipes, you may need to get some hypoallergenic non-scented, hypoallergenic non-scented, hypoallergenic non-scented, so having something like that to help with the whelping process. So that's the whelping process. That's everything you're responsible for. Before you can make that $10, $15, $20,000 from selling puppies, you're gonna be responsible for all of it. And I didn't even get to what the male is, which is smooth, because when it comes to a male collecting studs, what you can do at the 1 year mark, it's super easy what you're responsible for. You're responsible for that male being healthy and his swimmers being able to swim. That's about it. If somebody's contacted you, they saw something in you, that means you've been doing your part marketing wise. The dog should be healthy enough, right? Should have the proper background so when they say, hey, can you send me the paperwork on your dog? Who's your dog registered with? Okay, can you show me the genealogy, at least 4 generations? I need to know not only who the dog mama and daddy is, but I need to know who the grandparents are on both sides. From there, right, you got to make sure dog has that background, so when they ask for that, I think that's just a part of being healthy. Most dogs that are in official registries, I don't think all registries are created the same. That's neither here nor there. Most dogs that are in official registries are bred properly by people who want to do good. Now, there's a few outliers. But that's on them. That's what you're responsible for when it's collecting stud fees. That you can also collect stud fees for your dog. You can make your dogs 3 times a week if they're healthy enough. They have enough exercise. Now that would be milking them to me, but you can. Some people do much more than that. You know, every couple of days, as long as the dog has enough time to bounce back. Hey man, as long as it has enough nutrition, you know, you putting some quality diesel into the Ferrari or whatever it takes. Yeah. Again, if somebody asks me, hey man, I got a stud, how do you think I should do it? I would say about 8 times a month is a sweet spot. It's about 2 times a week. Dog has at least 4 to 5 days to kind of recover in between each. So that's just the responsibilities. There's other things that comes along with making money either through selling puppies or collecting stud fees. But what I need y'all to do is comment whatever your favorite emoji is, whatever emoji you resonate most with this video. I need you to put that in the comments, because that's gonna let me know to keep going. That's gonna let me know that you want me to keep going about stuff like this. So just let me know, drop whatever you want, and I'll see y'all next time. So I appreciate y'all. For the YouTubers, you know what I'm saying, for my people that's catching us on YouTube, I appreciate y'all, because you know, we going really into depth. You know what I'm saying? The people that just saw it on social, hey, they get, you know, they get the snips. And that's good, because that's what it's there for. But for the people that come here because they're hungry, they want to do better, I'm gonna continue to get deeper into here, and we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something together. We'll figure out what that is along the way. So I appreciate y'all for rocking. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Even if you don't do it this time, just do it next time. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I'm about to go grab Keno. I'm gonna feed him. I might record that, but either way, y'all gonna see me again. So later, peeps.